Wrestle Plug 444 Life.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to hashtag get plugged in. The refreshing, empowering moment that we have all wanted from WWE.
It's like ordering a medium pizza and then turning up with an extra large and a bottle of Coke.
You absolute moldy cheese fucking baby bell dairy lead dunk of shit.
What happens is these fucking people live in this fantasy land.
Everyone got their shit in, everyone got each other over, everyone looked good, and made the industry look great.
People need to fucking back the fuck off Ronda Rousey.
New to wrestling talent.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, prepare to have your ears completely and utterly violated as I am joined by a host of reprobates. I am your host, Aeron. I am from England, and joining me as the ambassador of maple leaf syrup and all things diabetic, Kyle Wilkinson.
I think those are the only two things I will ever be famous for, and you know what? I'm okay with that. That's who I am.
Maple syrup and diabetes?
Yeah.
Excuse me, diabetes.
Diabetes.
So, is maple syrup something that affects your diabetes as well? Do natural sugars suffer in the same consequence, or is it only refined sugar?
Natural sugar still does, but it's not as bad. So
is fruit quite a dangerous thing for you?
It can be, yeah.
Wow, man.
It's a shame because I love fruit.
Seriously, on a very serious note, I cannot believe how much of an education I've got in diabetes talking to you. And honestly, people, lay off the fucking sugar because you don't want none of that. Trust me, you really don't. And speaking of things you don't want none of, he hasn't been around for a while, but we thought we'd drag him back. Say hello, ladies and gentlemen, to the connoisseur of Middle America, the connoisseur of the pillowcase, Jay Miller.
Wow, the connoisseur of the pillowcase. That was...
See, it works on so many levels, because now people are thinking, does he smother children? Is he a member of the KKK? You just don't know.
No, I'm using the pillowcase as my wedding sack from, Kazakhstan, because for some reason, me and the wife watched Borat last night. And
what are you even talking about?
He's talking about Borat. He's talking about that moment where he tries to put Pamela Anderson in a sack.
You've never seen it?
No, I've never seen Borat. No.
Have you not? Really? Oh man,
I'm not a huge Sacha Baron Cohen fan.
Oh mate, have you seen Ali G in the House? Because that will really help you. If you want to understand, right, how stupid British culture is, watch Ali G in the House, because that is actually a surprisingly accurate representation of certain areas of London. It's very funny, even though it's based in the Staines massive. You get me, bruv? So yeah, there's that too. Do you know what? At the Wrestle Plug, we give you plenty of bang for your buck, and the next one is the biggest bang I know. It's actually quite ironic, really, because if anybody should be in the Big Bang Theory, it should be this guy, because he is the Sheldon Cooper of Wrestle Plug. Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen, the return of Dexter, the pinball maestro Critchman.
Hello, but Jesus, really? Pinball maestro? You couldn't have just gone with the obvious joke of pinball wizard? Really?
What the fuck is pinball wizard?
I know you lied to
pinball
me.
Wizard.
I know you know what that means.
Come on!
Yeah.
What's a pinball wizard?
Tommy?
Who?
Oh, fuck you.
Oh my god.
What's he talking about?
I know he's joking. He's got to be joking.
He's pulling her legs here.
Who's Tommy? What the fuck are you on about?
The
Don't
British
make me call.
group, The Who?
Right, I know who the Who are, but I've never heard, I don't know the names. I'm not good for that sort of thing. I'm more of a Stones man, you know that.
Well, he's got taste.
He has taste,
obviously.
Anyway,
well, not that much taste, ladies and gentlemen, because these fucking reprobates are on the podcast. Anyway, I'm sure you don't want to hear us talk about music. I'm sure you want to hear us talk about sexual offence, which is why we brought on Jay Miller. So, Jay Miller, tell us, what have you been doing with women this week?
Ouch, Jesus.
That's probably a good representation of what they said. But anyway, moving on, ladies and gentlemen. It's a joke, okay? And if you find that offensive, turn the fucking thing off right now, because you are not going to enjoy the next 45 minutes, I assure you. Now then, it's the State of Wrestling address. What that means is the fucking state of it. The state of the world. Never mind the fucking State of the Wrestling address. By the way, while I'm here, Donald Trump, massive cunt. Boris Johnson, floppy head, massive cunt. There, we've got that shit out of the way as well. So if you want my political viewpoints, ask me personally, because I fucking hate Boris Johnson right now. He is a sweaty, floppy head cunt. It's as simple as that. So anyway, Now that I've pretty much offended every demographic, and of course Jay Miller being here means that certain demographics just won't tune in full stop. Other than we might have a spike in people who shave their heads, which is, big bonus, I suppose. Numbers are numbers, isn't they? Even if they do like to wave Confederate flags around. Wrestling this week. State of Wrestling Address means that we cover all of the week's news in wrestling, and that means that we have to start with the most obvious, which of course is the fact that Becky Lynch is pregnant. Congratulations to the Leprechaun. She is, of course, pregnant. I joke. She's cool. Don't fucking come at me on Twitter and cry at me like a bunch of stands. Becky Lynch is pregnant. We assume that that's thanks to Seth Rollins. Congratulations, Seth Rollins. Also, he didn't seem to take it very well for anybody who saw WWE Raw. He kind of gone off the deep end, which is very bad timing when your missus has been on a show 20 minutes beforehand telling the world how happy she is that she's going to be a mother. So there's that too. Right, lads, who wants to dive in first with this question? Do you think that Becky Lynch not being on the product for a sustained amount of time is going to hurt the credibility and is going to hurt the viewership?
I'll jump in here because I've been kind of thinking about it since the announcement on Monday. And no, I think the Raw Women's Division will be just fine. We have Asuka as the champion. I mean, you cannot possibly go wrong with that in any sense of the word. They can bring some NXT people in if they really want to. I mean, seeing Asuka against, I know Rhea Ripley wants to beat up Charlotte, but I think Asuka and Rhea Ripley would still be a hell of a banger. Even Asuka and Bianca Belair, I don't remember if they had any matches down in NXT, but that would still be fun as hell.
Asuka and Io Shirai, just saying.
Oh, baby, please. And then we still have, Asuka and Kairi Sane could have, Eddie Guerrero, Rey Mysterio at WrestleMania 21 kind of moment where they just... they're still a tag team. They're not the champions like Eddie and Ray were, but they could still, have a friendly match. I think that would be really fucking cool.
Are they going to fight over the legitimacy of their own son?
Oh, God, that is where that ended up, isn't it?
Dominic, mate. Yeah. Custody of Dominic, ladder match.
Yeah, SummerSlam 2005.
But people have the nerve to kick off about Judy Bagwell on a forklift.
Yeah, that's... Wrestling fans, we suck. Well, maybe not we, because we're all awesome, but they suck. I'm going to differentiate us.
Don't lump me in your bracket, thank you very much.
Yeah. No, that's fair. Back to the matter at hand, I don't think the Raw Women's Division will suffer. I mean, Becky going away, yeah, it does suck, but that gives someone else on the Raw Women's roster a chance to step up, grab that, brass ring, and really run with it.
Anybody else got anything to add?
I've got one. All right. So essentially, Becky Lynch is gone for a while. We're probably going to have Seth Rollins going for a while. Roman Reigns is in the wind. Essentially, 5 megastars are not going to be on the product for at least 3-4 months. And I think it's going to be the best thing for the WWE. And here's why. Asuka is the Raw Women's Champion. Perfect. You've got a up-and-coming Liv Morgan that could go up against Asuka again. You have Shayna Baszler that could go up against Asuka. You got Bianca Belair. Inject that into my veins, please.
What? Excuse
me?
We were talking about diabetes earlier, and I think that is incredibly
You son of a bitch.
I'm sorry. Did I offend?
Breaking news on Meltzer's fucking... You wait till Wrestling Observer drops tomorrow. Turns out Jay Miller, super wrestling fan from the Wrestle Plug, hates black people and diabetics.
No.
Meltzer says 4 stars, no Tokyo Dome.
Damn it.
Please continue your point, sir.
I'm trying, but now I've...
Hurry up, for fuck's sake, mate. I got fucking 10 hours. This is supposed to be quick fire, and Carl took about 10 minutes just to tell us that he fancies taking knocks.
I didn't even mention that, but I should have.
I did see something that's kind of intriguing. Mickie James is coming out of the woodwork and saying she wants Asuka. She wants a match against Asuka for the Raw Women's title. So the Raw Women's division is perfectly fine. The men's division is the thing that I'm worried about. With no Rollins, no Kevin Owens, Samoa Joe's on the commentary team, they're going to have to bring up some guys. And I'm thinking Keith Lee is going to be one. They might bring Finn Balor back from NXT, put him back on Raw.
Please
got to
no.
do
No.
something.
Absolutely
They've
not.
We've done that
something.
already.
What are they going to
Also,
do?
they just sent Austin Theory back down to NXT, by the way. That's other breaking news. Apparently, Austin Theory, his run at Raw is done. They're sending him back down to NXT. I mean, they shouldn't have called him up anyway. He was on NXT for about 2 weeks. I mean, don't get me wrong. He did well, great wrestler, but he still needs a lot of work for me in terms of his, he looks very green as a character. So they obviously think they're comfortable. I don't know about Kevin Owens. I know he hasn't been around for quite a while. Well, he hasn't been around since WrestleMania, but you got to think that they've, he must be available to wrestle unless he got injured at WrestleMania.
Owens
doing an
is in Canada.
bump.
Owens is in Canada just like Sammy. That's why Sammy got the...
Okay. Dexter, what do you think about Becky Lynch not being on Raw for the foreseeable future? A lot of people suggesting at least a year. Thanks for your thoughts, Dexter. I really appreciate it. He comes back.
Sorry about that. My controller fucking died.
By the way, if you're listening to this, I apologize deeply because I'm not going to edit it. I'm just going to let these fools drown themselves.
Of course. Now, anyway, as I was going to quickly go through, I don't think it's going to be much trouble at all because there's one other big token. Becky didn't lose the belt. She had to relinquish it because she had to leave. So there's the start of a storyline when she comes back. There's a lot of premise on top of that's always there. Sorry, headset died. Moving on.
Hooray! Moving on. See, that's quickfire, ladies and gentlemen, and at least Dexter knows because he is the original co-host. So you other two could learn a thing or two from Dexter. Never thought I'd say that on this podcast, but it is what it is. So, Sami Zayn is no longer the Intercontinental Champion. He's been stripped of it because apparently he likes maple syrup too much. So, him and Kevin Owens are shacked up somewhere in Canada, probably in an isolation tent in the Rockies. And, I don't know, Carl Wilkinson is our Canadian correspondent, so maybe he can get the scoop on that. But there is going to be a tournament to decide a new Intercontinental Champion. No interim, ladies and gentlemen, like they did with the NXT Cruiserweight Championship. Nope, fuck you, Zayn. As soon as we could get the belt off you, the better. No idea who's currently going to be in this tournament. We assume there's going to be quite a few guys. Well, I haven't checked, so, maybe I should have done my due diligence, but I can't be honest at this point. I think only about 10 people are listening to this podcast. You only really check out the interview. So who do you think should replace Sami Zayn is Intercontinental Champion? And please, quick fire, lads.
Ali.
Great shout. Who said Ali? That was Jay Miller,
I did,
wasn't it?
yes.
Yeah, great shout.
I think Ali should come back, reveal himself as the mystery hacker, and just take over the Intercontinental.
You do realise it's CM Punk, right?
Oh, fuck off.
No.
That's what all the smarks are saying, isn't it? All right, CM Punk, do I have your attention now? That's what everybody's hanging on to. Also, I love that theory. Some twat on social media broke it down and was like, actually, I think you'll notice that the middle finger doesn't have a tattoo, and Ali has a tattoo on that middle finger. I can tell you where that middle finger should be going, sunshine.
Right up the behind. Anyway,
thank you, Dexter. That was the joke.
Speaking on the joke, let's give Cesaro the belt again.
Oh God. Yeah, cutting charisma, just what we need. Why is everyone upset? Okay, I'm about to really upset people here. I think Cesaro's fucking boring. I do. Great wrestler, right? But this ain't fucking New Japan Pro Wrestling. This is sports entertainment for a reason. What fucks me off about WWE fans is, especially their apologists, they're the worst lot. So they go online and AEW shit, AEW's about wrestling, I fucking hate AEW, I love WWE, I spoon fucking ice cream out of Vince McMahon's arsehole. That's all they care about, right? And all they say to you in an argument is, yeah, well, WWE's more about the entertainment. It's not just about wrestling, or it's not just about athleticism. Okay, explain to me what you have Shinsuke Nakamura, Cesaro, Daniel Bryan, Drew Gulak, fucking the list goes on. These guys are not regarded as great. No, don't get me wrong, Daniel Bryan, phenomenal heel, especially on the microphone. But these guys are not fucking world-class entertainers. Behave yourself. Cesaro's promos suck ass, and people need to deal with the fact that at best he is an undercard guy.
The only reason he's an undercard guy is he never actually got his shot. When they
the time is come and gone.
He got a couple. Pulled the trigger.
No, the time has come and gone.
Oh yeah, right now it is. But I'm saying, like, when he was doing his United States title run, and he lost the title, he was on a rocket. They should have gave him a title shot then, and put the title on him. And I guarantee he would have been tenfold better than he is already.
I totally disagree. He was
United States champion in 2012, yeah?
Yep.
Yeah, so
with Oksana.
To think, who was, WWE champion or world heavyweight champion in 2012? World heavyweight, I know Sheamus.
Ugh.
He won the 2012 Royal Rumble, if I remember right.
It's a shameful thing. Lobster head.
He's my pick for Intercontinental Champion, by the way. I love me some Sheamus. I would just love to watch him kick people's heads off en route to that title.
It's a perfect pick. Then also, that's the only belt he's never won. To complete
exactly. Give him the Grand Slam. Absolutely.
Give him it. I'm for that.
Yeah, I'd be game for Sheamus winning it. Also, Sheamus can cut a promo. He's a good worker. He's just better than Cesaro in every sense, if you ask me. I love Cesaro. I think he's an incredible wrestler, but when it comes down to it, he's not a sports entertainment. Yeah, okay, so Ali, good shout. Sheamus, excellent shout. Cesaro, hell no. Cesaro, no, is what I'm saying today. There you go. So you get it. What else is in the news? It's not really much else, is there? Anyone watch Dynamite this week?
I did. It was not as entertaining as last week, but it was...
That's because Christopher Daniels and Brody Lee was in the main event for 20 minutes, and I've never seen a man kick out so many finishers in one fucking match. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Speaking on, I haven't heard what you guys think of Brody Lee.
Spoiler alert, or unpopular opinion, however you want to call it, I think the Dark Order is going to take over AEW. I think Brody Lee is going to win the title from Moxley. And here's why I think this. Because Moxley...
I'm afraid I've got some bad
news.
I think Moxley wants to take a break. And I think they're going to give the title to Brody. Let him and the Dark Order run roughshod while all this pandemic crap is going on. And then finally we're going to get like the Elite or the Inner Circle going up against the Dark Order. Because that's where I'm seeing this going, especially with the addition of Preston Vance or 10. You've got Alex Reynolds, John Silver, Evil Uno, and Stu Grayson are pretty much the number one contenders for the tag titles. So it's only fair that if they're number one contenders, and who are the champions in AEW right now? Kenny Omega and Hangman Adam Page, and they're with who again? The Elite.
I don't think the Dark Order are even in the top 5 in the rankings for the AEW Tag Team Championships right now. And even if they were, I mean, if the Dark Order becomes tag champs before the Lucha Brothers or Proud and Powerful, I'm just going to quit watching Dynamite in general. Sorry, that's ridiculous. As for Moxley dropping the title, no, absolutely not. This is the first time he's been able to have any sort of creative freedom in probably a decade. There's no way he's taken the time off. I'm sorry, I don't believe that for a second. They
Also,
gave him that title.
Behave. He hasn't been on the fucking TV for about 6 weeks. He's only just come back.
That's also
there
fair.
is also that.
Kyle, quick note, Dark Order is currently ranked number 1 in the power rankings of the May 13th rankings.
Well, that's a fucking joke. Because they haven't had a...
That is bullshit.
How are you ranked number 1? That's ridiculous.
Because they were 5-0 before they fucked off.
Yeah, but that's Evil Uno and Stu Grayson, who aren't available at this time. Second in that list is Best Friends.
Yep.
By the way, Young Bucks 2 and 2. No, thank you.
Yeah. Why are they 2 and 2 and still third on the card when fucking Jurassic Express exists?
Because whoever does these fucking numbers is on smoke. Right, so I love AEW, but I'm about to take them to task here. Their rankings are a fucking joke. They are an absolute joke. So I'm going to quickly pull these up for the benefit of the people who are listening at home. So in the men's singles ranking, we have, surprise, John Moxley as champion. Then in number 1 position is Cody, 9-1. Murder Hall Lance Archer is 2nd. Kenny Omega 3rd. Brody Lee 4th. And Darby Allin 5th. Now that's a very credible listing. I like that. That's very good. You can't really argue with much of that. Women's ranking, of course, we have Nyla Rose as a champion. Hikaru Shida is number 1 contender, followed very quickly by Chris Statlander. Britt Baker is 3rd. Oh my god, Yuka Sakazaki.
Saki is fourth? What? Over
She hasn't been on the goddamn... who? Did you just call her Ray-Who?
Riho.
Riho is fifth in that
Ricola.
listing. This is when it gets ridiculous. So we get to the tag team rankings. Now, first of all, I am no fan of Kenny Omega and Hangman Page as tag team champions. That's a joke. You'll be pleased to know that Lucha Brothers aren't even in the rankings. At number one
off.
is Stu Grayson and Evil Uno. Best Friends are second, Young Bucks are third, Jurassic Express are fourth, and fifth is Private Party, a team that, from what I can remember, have had literally one tag match in 2020. It's fucking ridiculous. At least there's been on, a major television product. Garbage. Absolute garbage, these rankings, and they do not help your credibility in front of a fan base that are looking for something a little bit more realistic. AEW doesn't know how to market to a demographic. So what they do is they come out and they say, just so you guys know, when we start, it's going to be very realistic. It's going to be sports-based. Wins and losses are going to matter. That's why we have these rankings. Then they show these rankings off, and like we've said, there are people here, like for instance, there's a guy here, 2-2, who's above a 2-0 athlete. What the fuck is that? That just sounds ridiculous. If wins and losses matter, dumb shits, they've got 2 losses, so why would they be ahead of someone who hasn't lost yet? So dumb. So dumb. They haven't thought this through. It's just something else that they just want to throw out there. And this is really frustrating to me because it's a good fucking product, but it's got way too many fucking holes in it right now. And they need to start fucking patching it up and working out what they want to do. And also, for fuck's sake, your Lucha Brothers, mate, the best tag team in the world, if not one of the best, doing fuck all apart from karate kicking fucking Orange Cassidy in the face.
Which,
that
yeah.
Oh, and also Ray Phoenix, by the way, he'll be in that ladder match at Double or Nothing. Now that sounds amazing on paper, but what that does is that also completely hamstrings the fucking tag team division again. Stop fucking putting singles guys ahead of proper tag teams. It makes tag team wrestling look shit. Proud and Powerful aren't in the top 5.
Which is a
Lucha
mistake.
Brothers aren't in the top 5.
Mistake?
That's all I need to know, that you don't take your tag team division seriously. Even SCU aren't in the top 5. And how good were Frankie Kazarian and Scorpio Sky together? But now they're pushing this, this idea of Scorpio Sky being a singles guy. I just think that they are making a lot of mistakes right now. I love AEW, I really do. I love WWE as well when it's done right. I thought Money in the Bank was excellent. But I'm sorry, they need to be taken to task when they make mistakes. And this is one of them. That, and of course, their horrendous booking of the women's division. So yeah, I guess.
Speaking of the women's division, doesn't Penelope Ford hold a win over Riho?
She holds a win over my heart. That's all I can say.
So why isn't she in that top 5? Because
Riho, I think, also has a win, if not 2, over Penelope.
Well,
Penelope Ford is jobbing out like crazy at the moment. She keeps losing all these matches. True. That probably doesn't help either. Being hot, I'm afraid, does not qualify you for the rankings.
Well, I'm saying Yuka Sakazaki is in the rankings, for crying out loud, and I'm pretty sure I've seen Penelope Ford on TV a lot more than you did, whatever her name is. I can't even say it.
Being on TV, though, is not the qualification for this. It should be, are you successful or not?
I think what it boils down to, gentlemen, is that these rankings are actual bullshit and they mean jack shit.
Yeah, that seems like a very good pin in it. Yeah, other than that, we do have new tag team champions in NXT. Imperium finally dethroned that idiot Matt Riddle and his wonderful stand-in tag team partner Timothy Thatcher, because Peter is stuck in the UK. So we have new tag team champions. Thoughts on that?
I'm hoping that this results in Riddle and Thatcher beating the living hell out of each other, because the way Timothy Thatcher just left Matt Riddle to get destroyed by Imperium is ridiculous. And if we do not get Timothy Thatcher versus Riddle at TakeOver Throwback
in your house,
yes,
it's TakeOver in your house, which I approve.
I approve of that very much so. Unless they do not have the house setting as the people coming out, they're coming out of the garage door, the front door. I will be highly
probably
disappointed.
The best point you have ever made in this podcast history, because that is a fucking amazing set. Probably one of all my childhood memories of wrestling revolve around that In Your House set, man. Amazing.
Indeed.
And
I'm glad that Jesus. I'm glad Imperium are the tag champs, but if we don't get Riddle versus Thatcher, highly disappointed and a very, very big fuck you to the fans.
Maybe we can get, well, maybe at the same time, whenever all this is lifted and travel restrictions are lifted and all that, we'll see Peter, see him come back, and you think he's going to go after Thatcher. Nah, he turns around, punches Matt Riddle in the dick, and we can get either the team splits up, everyone goes their separate ways, or we can get Thatcher and Dunn, and I'd have a really, really good time watching that.
I'd have a massive erection for Pete Dunne and Timothy Thatcher.
I'm not even watching the product, and that still sounds like a good time. Give me some of that.
I mean, come on. And the thing is, right, a lot of this is singles guys being booked, and this tag team division's better. Who would have thought 6 months ago, if I'd said to you, oh yeah, AEW's tag team division will be trash by comparison to WWE NXT, everyone will like, shut your whore mouth, you're full of shit. And I even said on this podcast, oh yeah, AEW will completely sweep the floor with everybody when it comes to tag team wrestling. So what do? Oh, let's put the tag team belts on fucking Captain Anime and the Alcoholic. Congratulations. Great stuff, lads. Let's completely fucking hijack the rest. And I love both those guys, but they should not be tag team champions. For me, Kenny Omega is one of the best wrestlers in the world. That doesn't mean he should be a fucking tag champion. It's a joke. They have just completely hamstrung it. It pisses me off no end that, oh, we got the Lucha Brothers. Yeah, don't worry about those. Okay, well, what about Private Party? Nah, don't worry about him either. Proud and Powerful? I mean, they're good, but, you know, they're not the Young Bucks, are they? I honestly think that...
What about the Young Bucks?
It's almost like the Young Bucks, right? Fuck off. Sorry, they piss me off at this point. They're really starting to get on my nerves. I can't be the only person out there who's thinking, oh, they just bore me now. They do. They just fucking bore me. Do the same shit all the time. You know, that kind of trashy, over-the-top fucking humour. I know I sound like Jim Cornette. I don't care. I'm starting to get really bored of watching the Young Bucks. I do not think they're even close to one of the best tag teams in AEW. And by the way, I heard on the fucking broadcast, they said that match against Hangman Page and Kenny Omega at the last pay-per-view was, some people are considering the greatest tag match of all time. Shut your fucking mouth. Absolute nonsense. It was a fantastic
match in AEW.
Yeah, even then, I would question that because I've seen the Lucha Brothers kid. Also, by the way, we also had the Lucha Brothers versus the Young Bucks in a ladder match. So, you know.
I completely forgot about that.
We also, I mean, if we're talking about great tag matches ever, I mean, none of us can ever forget, you know, the Revival, DIY, 2 out of 3 falls. That's still one of, if not the best tag match I've ever seen in person.
I knew you were going to bring that up solely based on the
How could you not, though? Like, even if I wasn't, incredible match.
And it was
actually
in Canada, eh?
Here we go.
You can't even talk like a real hoser, here, eh? You should just go and fuck off and bring yourself on some double there, eh? But I hope it doesn't bring you too much. Because I know your healthcare, the healthcare is a little more expensive for you than there, eh?
Holy shit! Kyle, take a bow.
Phenomenal. Canada just destroyed America in the bumhole. Absolutely amazing.
It's like that time we burned down their White House. What up?
You've never let go of that. I swear to God, this history buff over here, really, this podcast is really breaking down. I love it. I love it now. We podcast on Thursday nights, Mago.
So, can I pick on a couple topics that I want to talk on by chance?
Go on then. You're not here very often. Go on, have a go, mate. Try your luck at being in charge.
It's not even really being in charge.
Also,
it's just
I'm going to let you edit this.
Oh, fuck. I mean, wait, Edis? I know you're editing. You chop out as much little quiet as possible, edit all the stupid stuff at all possible, and then just shove it out the door.
My editing is very thorough.
Anyway.
How dare you ruin the illusion of all the hard work he does?
2 items, the Revival or the Revolt in EC3, where?
NWA
Revival
for EC3, and I want to see, or Impact, just because it makes beautiful sense for him to return, and the Revolt have to go to AEW.
Well, if you had bothered to go to WrestlePlug.com and read my article about where some people should go, I believe I mentioned both of those people.
Yes, you did.
And
there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Cheap plug for WrestlePlug.com.
There you go.
I think the Revolt should go to Impact. And I think EC3 should also go to Impact. I think EC3 coming back to Impact, being the prodigal son again, would be fantastic. And the Revolt, I'm sorry, if we do not get the Revolt in Impact, we would have a huge disservice of not getting the Revolt versus the North. And if we do ever get that match, please, God.
Who are the North?
Oh, no.
It doesn't even have it doesn't even have to be on Impact because Josh Alexander is still the Destiny champion. So they could just bring the North to Destiny and have the Revolt come in if they're in where I suggested either AEW or NWA because I'd love to see them, the old school tag team going back to, the oldest wrestling association that's ever existed, where pretty much everything has branched from. Oh, my apologies. And North America. The United States, because
that's
Mexico
you heard that, Mexico, you don't count.
I do history, not geography. That's the problem here. I do history, not geography.
So not a big fan of the Incas then, eh?
Oh, but I just played the last Tomb Raider, and I'm all about the Incas and the Aztec. It was great. We'll get sidetracked.
We talk about that fucking PS5 demo while we're completely off topic.
Jesus Christ, that was amazing.
I have not
beauty.
I need a PS5. Buy Xbox.
I did see the promo for Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and that looks fucking insane.
All right.
Yeah, but also WWE Battlegrounds is going to be amazing.
Is that what they're calling the new one?
Yeah, it's gonna be a little cartoony. It's like WWE All Stars that came back in 2012, I think, or 2011. It's just gonna be really cartoony, but it's gonna be fucking.
Which, by the way, was in my top 10 all-time WWE and wrestling-related video games, which you can also check out on WrestlePlug.com if you're bothering to read our articles.
Yeah, wasn't it like number 5 or number 6?
No, it was number 9, I believe.
Oh shit! Maybe I just rank it up a little higher because I.
What was number 1, Kyle? What was number 1?
Oh shit! I did read it
because obviously you've read.
Number 2 was No Mercy.
What's top No Mercy?
Was number 2 No Mercy, Kyle?
I'm pretty sure number 2 was No Mercy.
I'm pretty sure you obviously haven't read this fucking thing.
No, I did read it.
I was gonna say B's number 1 to him would be No Mercy.
Yeah, No Mercy was number 1.
No, it wasn't.
Really?
Shows up fucking Jay Miller. It's bad enough that the articles you give to me, I have to completely rewrite. But the fact that you can't even fucking get my own fucking articles right is pretty embarrassing.
I'm pretty sure No Mercy was number 2 for you.
Ouch! You want ouch, mate? Right? Okay, I'm gonna prepare yourselves, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you boys are wearing Kevlar because this is about to get real ugly. Jay Miller, I love the fact you submit articles. I think it's wonderful. But at the same time, could you actually submit an article that makes a fucking point? Because seriously, what the fuck are you talking about? As somebody who writes a lot, man, all I can say is I appreciate them, and they're not terrible by any means, but if you want honest direction from me and critical advice, you need to get to the point about what you're talking about.
Okay. So
that's fair.
As much as I like hearing my replacement get roasted, I do have one other topic that
by the way. When are you going to fucking submit an article, dickhead?
When I have a chance to sit down and
fucking write.
fucking
You've got enough time to sit at home and have a little fucking cry about pinball machines that have slowly died a death, but apparently you can't spend 10 minutes writing an article. How many times do you fucking hear these cunts going on social media? Oh, I've got nothing to do. Oh, I'm so bored. Oh, this fucking pandemic. Oh, I'm stuck at home. But yeah, they can't spend 20 minutes writing about how they hate something or how they love something. Come on, man. Do better.
I mean, you haven't heard me complaining because I've been keeping my head down because I got other shit to do. Anyway, getting back.
I haven't heard about you in the last year, Sunshine. In fact, the last time we had a proper conversation was face to face.
I mean, we failed at a heist really badly.
Oh yeah, I remember that. We put it on YouTube.
We did.
Also, there's me playing Streets of Rage 4 on YouTube. If anyone wants to see that,
I actually sat down and watched that. The Chad Too Bad and the Sex Ferguson characters.
Oh,
why?
Yes.
Why
yes.
did? Why?
Yes. It's Buddy. Oh, I cannot wait for Gallows and Anderson. Oh, by the way, their Talking Shop podcast is amazing. I'm so happy.
Where are they gonna rock up, and why did they trademark those fuckers?
They are perfect in NWA with those two characters. Perfect. Them alongside, imagine Eli Drake and fucking all the guys that are in there, and Zicky Dice, former interviewer of the Wrestle Plug. Thank you very much. NWA television champion. Oh, thank you. Oh dear, we spoil you cunts. Yeah, no man, can you imagine fucking those guys in NWA, like with that brand of humor and that kind of old, because their characters are NWA throwbacks from back in the day. It's just perfect. Perfect. It's a match made in heaven. Who doesn't want to see the Rock and Roll Express versus Chad Too Bad and Sex Ferguson?
I mean, I do. I really do. I want that.
Should we get to unpopular opinions?
Oh, okay. Let me simmer for a second here.
Should we start with an appetizer? And I have one that'll probably trigger Beast.
Go on then, Dexter. You can kick us off with. So let me just prelude this because fuck's sake. So every week now, during the pandemic, obviously there isn't too much wrestling to cover. We cover a lot of the shows exclusively for our YouTube, so we don't feel like there's a big point in us revisiting things. If it's a particularly big pay-per-view, we'll drop it as an audio podcast. So until things tend to go back to a certain level of normality and the news week picks up, because it has been very quiet for a while now, we are going to be delving into wrestling's most unpopular opinions every week. We've been covering it for a couple of weeks. You seem to have enjoyed it. It's been quite successful. People have very much enjoyed listening to Carl Wilkinson lose his shit. So we shall continue. And as Dexter Critchman is a special guest this week, he has an unpopular opinion that he thinks might just trigger yours truly. So let's have it, Sunshine.
Owen Hart actually wasn't that good.
Okay. Who submitted this?
Me.
Where'd you find this? This came from your brain?
You personally don't think Owen Hart's that good. Okay. Before I literally destroy you asunder, I will give you the opportunity, and the lads will be quiet, we will give you the opportunity to explain to yourself why you think Owen Hart wasn't that good.
In comparison to the groups that he was around, he didn't have the power to actually shine in comparison to the groups around him. Now, whether that be bad booking or what have you, the groups he was put up against didn't seem to show if he had major talent when it came to mic work. And that's his biggest downfall, was his mic work.
That's all you've got as an argument as to why Owen Hart wasn't that good.
Now, don't get me wrong, he's still a Hart and still has very good mat work. But quite honestly, nah. I don't think Owen Hart was that good.
For me, I feel like you don't really believe in this unpopular opinion enough. Because if you did, you would just come out and say, Owen Hart is not a very good mic worker, he's fucking boring. He couldn't talk. Every group he was in, he never did any mic work because he wasn't a very good talker. But instead, you kind of jumped around and danced around the fact, and you were like, well, maybe he wasn't good. You weren't very succinct there. So I don't think you really believe that.
I mean, I do, but that was not the way.
Yeah, but I just asked you, I gave you a platform. Why do you not think he's that good? And you didn't tell me once why you thought he's not that good. All you did was dance around and tell me that there were certain things that he may not necessarily have been given an opportunity to do. Okay,
flat out, he stumbles on the microphone, not nearly as bad as some of the worst people that we've had. You'd see Scott Steiner. Anyway,
Whoa! Okay, first of all, the 33 1/3% opportunity promo is the greatest piece of maths known to man. That shit outranks Albert Einstein by some margin. And second, Scott Steiner is your go-to insult for fucking stumbling on the microphone. Jesus! I'm still waiting for you to give me, so you've said that he stumbles on the mic. That cannot honestly be your only argument for why Owen Hart is not that good. It can't be, surely. Is that it? Is that all you got?
That's all I got.
Okay, that's all you got. Right. Okay. This is probably why he doesn't come back on the podcast very often, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, it's one of the worst opinions I've ever heard. Second of all, literally the only thing you had was not great mic work. Now, correct me so who is your current favourite wrestler in wrestling right now, Dexter, if I was pushed you into a corner and said, who are you going to watch more than anyone else? Who is that one person that you will watch?
You know what? I'll give you a toss-up. You can either pick on EC3 or you can pick on MJF.
So literally your idea of a great wrestler is someone who is predominantly a world-class mic worker and nothing else.
I guess in that instance, yes.
Like, who's your all-time great wrestler from the past?
Well, you honestly know that answer. RVD.
I mean, you really think RVD's the greatest wrestler of all time?
He's my favorite of all time. I didn't say the greatest. You want the greatest.
I want your greatest, not the greatest, your greatest wrestler of all time. You think RVD is your greatest wrestler of all time?
Well, we'll go from one to the other. We'll go to Bret Hart.
Bret Hart was a worse mic worker than Owen Hart in a lot of circumstances. Like, Bret Hart was literally the technical god. But from a promo standpoint, I actually think his promos were excellent, particularly at the back end when he was turning heel, especially when everything led to Survivor Series. But I'll tell you what, we're tagging Carl Wilkinson, your Canadian Carl, which is really going to make this a lot of fun. What do you think about Dexter's unpopular opinion that Owen Hart is not that good?
Oh, fuck me. Where do I even start?
Get him!
Well, I mean, his in-ring work was incredible. And the example I always go to for this is his match against his brother Bret at WrestleMania 10. It was the opener.
Creamy goodness.
But that doesn't matter. You could have put Owen in there with, I'm trying to think of who was big in like 1994. Make Owen wrestle fucking Diesel. I don't care. That match still would have been good because Bret had good matches with Diesel. Not great, not fantastic, because Kevin Nash can't move too fast without his leg exploding from the inside out. But Owen Hart, I think he had infinitely more charisma than Bret. Because when you look at the Hart Foundation, when you look at Bret Hart and Jim the Anvil Neidhart, the Anvil did all the talking because he was the big guy. He was the big animated guy. And Bret's just the one, fucking arms crossed, kind of looking down, being all serious. He wasn't meant to be the talker. Yes, as the boss said when he started, turning heel, the second Hart Foundation, it got better, but it still wasn't great. But the fact that you could try and say Owen Hart made Yokozuna funny. Like, come on, man. That's just I
find it so laughable. I'm sorry, but I find that opinion so terrible that I can't take it seriously. I really can't. Especially when your backup for it was that you thought that RVD was the greatest wrestler of all time. But I love RVD. At one point, he was one of my favorite wrestlers, but he ain't even close. He's not even top 20, man.
Fair enough.
Miller, anything you want to add about that? What do you think, Miller? Do you think Owen Hart's overrated?
I think Owen Hart's one of the best wrestlers of all time. Now, to be fair, with Dex, since I am considered Dex 2.0, I will defend my
why?
cohort.
It's more fun to tear me
Dexter
down.
doesn't want to be associated with you. That's how bad it is.
Whatever. His mic work was okay, but he was more of a guy that he let his actions speak for him. So he didn't need to be good on the mic. He would just kick your ass and take the mic and shove it up your ass rather than talk on it. Owen was probably, if not the greatest technical wrestler, he is definitely in the top 5.
That seems fair. Right, lads. Unpopular opinions. Let's have them. Seeing as Dexter has completely shit the bed on that one.
I mean, all right. What else we got?
Come on, test me out here.
Unpopular opinion. NXT's tag team division is better than anybody's tag team division right now.
Please discuss.
Okay, besides, the Broserweights that have now just completely disbanded, essentially, because of Thatch and Riddle, we have the Undisputed Era, which could be any one of those 4. So Roderick Strong, Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish, any one of those pairing. Imperium is now their NXT tag team champions. So we have Marcel Barthel and Fabian Eichner. And for shits and giggles, if you wanted to, you could throw Walter in there or Alexander Wolf. They have that, oh God, what Indus the new tag team that Malcolm Bivens is Indus-Share, I think their name is.
I've never heard of that. I've got no
the
idea.
two
Also,
the two Indian gentlemen that Malcolm Bivens is.
wow, you said that very carefully, didn't you? You had to be very careful there. Seriously, who are these two? What the fuck? What product are you watching? Two Indian guys and Malcolm Bivens?
Malcolm
What the fuck
Bivens.
are these people?
Isn't
that fucking what's his
okay.
name?
Stokely Hathaway.
Stokely Hathaway.
Yes.
Oh right. Oh, here's an unpopular opinion. Stokely Hathaway, not entertaining in the slightest.
Oh no, absolutely not. But the tag team that he's managing right now are pretty fucking formidable. If I do say so myself. They look amazing. Now, whether they
so
work
the two
well,
Indian people who should ever work as a tag team, man, it's Jinder Mahal and the Great Khali.
Oh, no.
Just saying, one of those guys, in fact, both of those men have been world champions. What have your Bivens and company done so far?
They ran roughshod over a bunch of jobbers so far that I've seen.
Hooray! Come back to me when they've actually won something, yeah?
Okay, that's fair. But I'm saying, besides, Broserweights and Imperium and the Era, there's still up-and-coming tag teams that can be formed and that are pretty good. They could actually bring up a couple of guys from... They've already got Leon Ruff. They could bring up AR Fox from Evolve into NXT also. It's just AEW are wasting their tag team talent. Raw and SmackDown's tag team... Please. Fucking horrible. So that's why I said unpopular opinion. I think NXT's tag team division is better than all of them.
I don't think it's that unpopular, to be fair. I really don't.
Now, once NJPW and Ring of Honor get back into it, then I'll have a different opinion. Because I think New Japan has probably the best tag team division still because...
That's probably the funniest thing you've said. NJPW has the worst tag team division in the world.
What? God,
okay.
LIJ.
Okay. First of all, LIJ are a faction. Okay, so we're looking at just Evil. What is it?
Evil and Sonata.
Yeah, it's all right. It's not amazing. God are incredible. I'll give you that. Who else?
Okay, how about Chase Owens and Yujiro?
Chase Owens and Yujiro Takahashi is your argument for a good tag team.
David Finlay and oh my God, David Finlay.
Any of these people, actually, Juice Robinson, numbnuts. Are any of these, but I know the fucking tag teams better than you do, for fuck's sake. Come on, man. Like, those are terrible. What are you talking about? They're all singles guys. How many of those are legitimate tag teams? At a stretch, LIJ, but they still feel like two singles guys. And also, I just don't think they're that good. I really don't. Like, I love LIJ. I'm a huge mark for everything LIJ. I just don't think that tag team is that effective. God is by far and away the best tag team. Finlay and Juice Robinson are a couple of singles guys. You haven't got the Young Bucks anymore. Where's, Roppongi 3K are alright, I suppose. They're quite fun. But
Birds of Prey, Robbie Eagles and Will Ospreay.
Again, that's two singles guys.
Yeah, but
they don't have tag teams. Like Ring of Honor, even Ring of Honor's got a few tag teams. Ring of Honor's tag team division, by the way, is pretty shitty as well. Like, you take the British guys out of that, what have you got?
Not of a fuck of a lot.
Exactly. Seriously,
now,
boys, you're going to have to do better than this, because I am shredding your unpopular opinions to pieces.
Now, to be fair, I actually side with Miller on the NXT probably has the best tag division, but that's because mostly restrictions are in place. But that's neither here nor there.
I mean, I don't disagree with that. Grizzled Young Vets, Imperium, like the Broserweights were popular, even if I'm not a fan. You've got Undisputed Era as well. Like, it's a phenomenal tag team division. It really is. It's quite limited, though. I think if you take some of the major players out of that, it really looks quite low, especially when they called up Street Profits and the Viking Raiders as well. That really took a lot of the heart and soul out of that tag team division for me. But with the way AEW has booked it, there's no question that NXT makes use of proper tag teams more so than anyone else.
I found an unpopular opinion that I don't agree with, so I might like to destroy
Throw
it.
it out there. Go on then. What's that unpopular opinion?
Found it on Twitter. This opinion from @Stonewall_KOTDM.
Mm-hmm.
He says Ember Moon is just a fancy finisher and nothing else.
Dear.
Oh no.
Now, don't get me wrong. I think the Eclipse is a thing of beauty. I think it's one of the most innovative, maybe not innovative, but definitely one of the most interesting finishers I've seen in a long time. I remember when she hit Mickie James with it, and that's the best sell I've ever seen like ever. But I think like she's got, you know, good entrance music. She's got a cool. She doesn't really have much of a character, I suppose, but also we haven't seen her on TV in almost a year. I think I know she was injured. I don't remember from what. So I guess I don't remember a whole bunch, but I remember being so interested by her, so fascinated by her moveset, her character. Like, I think she was a great seller. I don't understand how people could not like Ember Moon.
That's fair. That's absolutely fair.
Unfortunately, I don't have much of an opinion on it because I haven't watched the WWE product in quite some time, but from the time before she got called up, when I was actively watching, she was quite stellar in the ring. I'm not sure if there's anything that's changed with her. She had to change a gimmick or whatnot, but no, she was quite breathtaking in the ring.
I have some cracking quickfire ones here, lads, but let's try and keep it quickfire. At Jamie B2A, Randy Orton should be WWE champion and deserves a long title reign. Yay or nay?
No. Hell no.
Yes. He needs one more title reign and he can go off into the sunset.
Hello,
one
darkness,
more. That's it.
FO_VVERHE. What the fuck? Vincent Verhey.
Alphabet soup.
No idea. Yeah, fucking at. The Bashams were awesome, according to this fella. Who remembers the Basham brothers?
You mean the guys at JBL's cabinet?
Yeah, those guys. He reckons they were really good.
You mean
They
insert biker brawler A and B, the ripoff of Skull and oh god, I can't even think of his name now.
Except they weren't nearly as Nazi-ish as the other guys.
Right.
They were just
They're horrible.
bald twins that did the bidding of JBL. Their wrestling was mediocre. I don't remember ever hearing them speak. They got a tag team title run, whoop-de-doo, but no, trash.
I'll have you know that they were tag team champions in an era of such illustrious tag teams as Rene Dupree and Kenzo Suzuki, Paul London and Brian Kendrick.
Oh, hey, they were good.
And so much more. Yeah, they were good. To be fair, they're all right. They weren't too bad. Let's see. I'd rather see Brock Lesnar versus Sheamus than Brock Lesnar versus Kevin Owens, says at Jay Greeds.
Oh, I don't think that's unpopular. I think that would slap. Sheamus and Lesnar.
At Seabolt TV. This is a good one. At Seabolt TV, D'Lo Brown had the greatest frog splash.
Ooh!
Has he seen Eddie Guerrero?
Fuck out of me. Eddie Guerrero, RVD. Jesus Christ, I could name tons of people that have got a better frog splash.
I can name one person with a better frog splash than Eddie Guerrero. Montez Ford.
There you go.
Literally coming out of space with that thing. It's absolutely amazing.
Fuck no. Fuck D'Lo Brown and his weak-ass frog splash. Fuck that.
Here's a good one by at Unpopular Wrestling. Well, he's unpopular. He's only got one follower, but it's always good fun. He's clearly a troll account. At Unpopul8457778. Fuck off. Otis is the most overbooked wrestler ever, and no way a comedic relief superstar like him should win Money in the Bank.
Well, he did, so fuck you.
That's absolutely fair. He also says that Seth Rollins is so much better than Kenny Omega.
Ooh, excuse me. What?
I'm sorry. Kenny Omega can be a fascinating character and a world-class wrestler at the same time. He isn't always both simultaneously, but he has the ability to do so. Seth, my boy, does not.
Seth, my boy.
Don't get me wrong.
Okay.
Seth is very good, but no. He focuses either too much on his gimmick or on his wrestling. It's never both at the same time.
Here's one for you. At BWB Pro Wrestling, Brody Lee is more AEW champion for stealing their title than Asuka is for having the belt handed to her.
Yeah, but the problem with an opinion like that is you're arguing. First of all, Becky Lynch chose the right person to be champion, kayfabe or not. And second of all, you're kind of making an unpopular opinion about two things that are kayfabe. No, he's not. He's just not from a factual standpoint. He's just not. Like, he literally... Like, also, how much of a fucking pussy do you look stealing a belt when you're his size? You look ridiculous. I don't like the stealing the belt gimmick. I think it looks ridiculous. The only time it worked was when Dean Ambrose, John Moxley, ironically, nicked it off of Seth Rollins. That was the only time I found it reasonably funny. Other than that, it's just stupid. Oh, and also when they stole the Smoking Skull belt off of Austin, I thought that was quite a good angle as well, back in '99, going into Backlash.
I mean, that's ridiculous because Asuka won a match the previous night anyway. She technically won the title because that's what the match was for. It wasn't just given to her.
And also, to echo Beast a little bit, the whole I'm going to steal the title and, claim that I'm the champion when you're supposed to be, the big bad, woo, scary of the fucking AEW roster. It looks like goddamn shit. Now, I could see that being turned around and turned into, hey, I'm hiding the belt, so you have to face me, ha ha ha. That would have made a better gimmick.
At MVA4D, Undertaker vs. Triple H, WrestleMania 28 is the best WrestleMania match of all time.
Is that Hell in a Cell? Is that the end of an era?
I think it is, yeah.
I mean, it was great, but did he see The Undertaker's 2 matches at 25 and 26? Did he see Brett versus Owen at 10? Did he see Michaels and Brett at 12?
Probably only started watching wrestling. Do you know, I have an
fucking
unpopular
ladder
opinion.
match.
I have an unpopular opinion. Brett versus Shawn Michaels is one of the worst Iron Man matches in WWE history.
I actually 100% agree with that because they had to go for an hour, so the start was so fucking slow.
It was just tedious.
So
I tell you
boring.
what, The Rock versus Triple H at Judgment Day 2000 blows any other Iron Man match for me out of the water because not only is it phenomenal from a wrestling standpoint, but it also has so many incredible storylines that are sewn into it. And I think from a sports entertainment standpoint, it's by far and away the best Iron Man match I've ever seen. But from if you're talking about just as a straight wrestling match, I have seen Doug Williams, Daniel Bryan, Loki, and I think it's Amazing Red in a Fatal 4-Way Iron Man match. And that was fucking ridiculous. Like, that needs to be seen to be believed. I honestly thought the first time I watched it, my mate was taking a piss and it was on fast forward. They just went full blown for 60 minutes. Didn't even stop. Ridiculous.
I mean, wasn't there also, I think it was, 2003, Kurt Angle and Brock Lesnar in an Iron Man match?
Yeah, that was on,
I believe that one was,
SmackDown.
Yeah, it was on SmackDown. I believe that one was pretty good. Judgment Day 2000, isn't that when Taker came back?
Yes, it is. The greatest return in the history of wrestling.
I love an Iron Man match. I think it's really, really cool. I'd like to see more Ultimate Submission matches, personally. I think that would be really fucking cool to see. But as for Iron Man matches, yeah, Kurt and Brock is really high up there for me, and if that's not number one, it would be The Rock and Hunter.
I fully echo that because, quite honestly, The Rock and Hunter, Triple H, Jesus Christ. And also, the pacing was way too fucking slow.
Yeah, no, that'll do for the state. That'll do, pig. That'll do. That'll do, state of it. That'll do. That'll be enough for the State of Wrestling Address, ladies and gentlemen. I think your ears have bled enough. I did warn you beforehand, and if you were offended by anything in this podcast, I can honestly say with an open heart, go fuck yourself, you fucking mount. Honestly, why would you fucking listen in the first place? Seriously, you know what this podcast is all about. Yeah, that's it for the state of it. Not the State of Wrestling Address, just the state of it. The state of it. The fucking state of it. I tried to fucking form one Steve out of 3 guys. That's how good Steve is. I got these 3 lads, brought them in, and they don't even make one good Steve. Terrible. Oof. Bring back.
I don't even think we made one bad Steve.
I mean, bad Steve is good Steve. I mean, bad Steve is money, mate. Honestly, if you've ever heard Steve when he's in a mood, he is fucking money on this podcast. So please hurry back, Steve, because, yeah, I honestly feel like I might do something horrible to my own wrists at this rate. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening to the State of Wrestling Address. Carl Wilkinson, say goodbye.
Goodbye, everyone. Thanks for, if you made it this far, thank you very much.
Dexter Critchman, thank you very much for joining us again, mate. Say goodbye.
Thank you guys for having me again. I'll see you around.
Jeremy Miller, don't say goodbye because you'll probably have a terrible opinion that goes with it.
See you later, everybody. Have a great night. Bye!
That'll do. It's a bit rapey, but it'll do. From Jeremy Miller, from Carl Wilkinson, from Dexter Critchman, and from myself, Aeron, thank you very much for listening to the state of it. I sincerely hope that you will still come back next week. Because if you don't, well, that might just be it. We might just leave it with the interviews and if you guys are fucking brave. But if you did enjoy parts of this absolute train wreck of a podcast, please let us know. I will try my best to edit, but I cannot really help you. And honestly, as a disclaimer, the views and the opinions that were stated by Jeremy Miller are no way held by anyone else in the world. And I apologise. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for listening to the state of it. It's been an absolute wild ride, and we will catch you next week for more nonsense from the Wrestle Plug.
This content was brought to you by the Wrestle Plug Podcast.